Here is the FY616 Airboat, and I've made three main modifications to it. One is I created some drain holes and then filled those with screws, and that's so that if necessary I can empty the hull of water, although since I've done that it hasn't got much in. This boat also has some water sensors for safety under here. This one's going rusty, so I've bypassed that circuit. Do that at your own risk, of course. That now means the propellers will operate out of water, and I actually prefer that rather than having to put it in water all the time to see if it's got power. So I did that by removing this section, there's one screw in there, and then slid it away and off, and then there were two wires under there I snipped together and soldered together, and that bypassed the water safety feature. The third modification I've made, and this is the latest one, is there is a little screw there which you use to hold the canopy in. You slide it in, screw it down, and I didn't want to keep using a screwdriver to put this canopy on. I wanted a much simpler method, and also one day I might lose that screw, I thought. So what I've done is this. I've put magnets in. Now this magnet is one of two magnets. There's another magnet under the cover, and what I've done here is put some insulation loft foam there just to mount it and put it in position. Glued that with contact adhesive. The magnet here I've glued with an epoxy glue. I've also glued in a piece of rubber band with contact adhesive and epoxy under there. That means that if the magnet doesn't hold and this flips up, this cover won't fall off. This will hold it in place. Now I've run it a few times and this magnet is strong enough, it seems, to hold it anyhow, even at full speed, doing tight turns and all sorts of things. But if that was to flip up in unusual circumstances, this shock cord, as I call it, will hold it in place. It's a similar thing we used to use on model rockets. So now I don't have to screw this on, I just clip it in place. So the model looks essentially the same, and I found that driving it at slower speeds is much more controllable, and I can get 25-minute runs that way. So I prefer to drive it at slower speeds. I'm very happy with my Airboat. I really like it. It reminds me of an old toy I used to have called Comet. It was a blue and white boat based on slow motion, that sort of shape. And this reminds me of that, so some childhood memories in a way. So I think I'll probably leave this boat as it is. I was considering steampunking it up, making it into a science fiction machine. For the moment at least, I'll leave it just as it is. I've also got this for $2.99, a plastic speedboat, and this one floats. Even when it sinks, it still floats. I've tried it, I've submerged it. Of course it's plastic, so it's lighter than the water it displaces. Nevertheless, I filled it up with insulation foam so it'll float even higher. I may even paint this up, and of course I can push this boat along, I think, with this one, and just practice nudging it around the lake and have some fun. I like to have some sort of challenge, and this boat is quite hard to drive. It only has essentially one type of steering, although you can vary the props and therefore vary the turning circle a little, so that makes it interesting.